Hey, hello, and welcome to the Feel Strong Fitness Podcast. My name is Justin McClintock, and today we're doing breaking news, folks. Well, not really breaking news, but this happened to me today, and I want to talk to you about it. I'm going to tell you a brief story, and then follow it up with why I think it's important. And it's around the idea of what are you training for? Why are you exercising? Why should people be exercising and moving with intention? And maybe how do we talk to people in our lives who aren't currently making this a habit? So the story is this. I'm training a client in person. We've been working together for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, at least 2 years actually. So a long-term in-person client. They are about a year postpartum. So it's a mom. She had her kid about a year ago. Things are going very well. We had been working together when she got pregnant initially and trained through that very successfully. Had her baby, came back, training again. One of the things we're actually training for is to get pregnant again. It was a relatively challenging pregnancy. And so we are getting strong enough, capable enough, in shape enough, really feeling ready to go through something like that again. Her spouse used to exercise a lot, basically right up until when they had the baby. And huge breaking news, babies really affect your schedule. Both of them found it more challenging to find time to go to a gym. I actually train this client in their apartment gym. I go to them because they do not have the time to commute to a gym and back. And their spouse has not really found the time to exercise very much. Occasionally, they will go to the gym. They've had a routine they've been doing for like 15 years that they generally like, but they've fallen off a lot. They don't get to the gym as much. And mom has really been on the spouse, dad, to exercise more for lots of reasons. He'd been complaining about sort of energy and not feeling great, and then gaining some weight and feeling less capable, and all of the myriad reasons that people often decide to start or get back to an exercise routine. And mom had suggested that he get back to his old routine. He was finding that really hard. So she suggested that he talk to me and we write him a program he could do on his own. He's very experienced, and we probably wouldn't have a time we could work one-on-one in person anyways. But the proper program, properly crafted to really meet him where he is and then progress him, would likely work very well. That meeting never happened. Dad started hurting his back, and he started hurting his back kind of all the time. And it's become a little bit chronic. And he'll do the old story of get hurt, take some time off, feel okay, decide to ease into it, not really ease into it, push it too hard in the gym, get set back, get hurt again, rest a little bit, take it easy. If you've been listening for a while, you know that that path isn't very effective and doesn't work. People often rest too long, and then the way they progress back into movement and exercise is too fast / not very well planned out. But this is where dad is. Now, all of that said, it would kind of be okay, right? People make their own mistakes. People make their own choices. People are in charge of their own lives. They can do whatever they want to do. But mom came down today, mad, worked up, frustrated. I said, well, what's going on? Well, dad's hurt again. He hurt his back, and I'm really busy. Okay, so what's going on? Well, his back hurts so much, he can't pick the kid up. He can't carry the child. And I'm really busy, but now I'm the only one who's literally capable of carrying my child around. And it feels incredibly unfair because I've been asking him for months and months and months to work on his fitness and work on his strength. And I strongly believe that that's one of the reasons that he got hurt in the first place and has stayed hurt for so long. And then she said a sentence, and it came out of nowhere, and I don't think I've ever heard it before, but it stopped me in my tracks. Are you ready? She said, his functional deficit is now affecting my quality of life. And apparently she said that to him. I mean, turned around. Your functional deficit is now affecting my quality of life. And that's a really big deal. And it's true. So yes, dad's in charge of his body. He's in charge of his own life. He can make his own choices. He can decide to be what we would consider maybe more productive, more effective, more efficient, or less. Not everyone likes doing things. Not everyone likes training with people. Not everyone wants to invest in fitness. I get it. But once it starts affecting those around you, does that change the degree to which maybe you should, or maybe you need to, Or maybe it has moved from the place where a lot of people keep exercise and movement, which is kind of luxury slash hobby, right? It would be nice. It's a nice thing to do. I do this when I can. I do this for me. I do this because it feels good. And starts getting dragged a little more towards center stage, where it's closer to staying healthy, going to work so I can help be a provider. One of the more central aspects of being a human being, and certainly being a contributing member to whatever your circle is, whether it's your family or your social dynamic or your work dynamic, or any of those things, being able to show up the way you need to, not just the way you'd like to. And there is anyone who's ever been significantly hurt will understand the frustration of this. There is such a gulf from the place of, I don't love the way I look. I wish I was a little bit stronger. I wish I was a little bit faster. I wish I could keep up with these people. I wish I was better in this sport. Those things are important and can be motivating and can be deeply frustrating when they're not going the way you want them to. But the place of, I physically can't do things that I believe I need to be able to do on a day-to-day basis. I physically can't do things that I'm required to do. I'm now having to bow out of pretty basic day-to-day stuff. And by doing that, I'm making other people's lives worse, harder, more challenging, less comfortable, less certain, scarier. That's a big step and a big jump. And it's really important. And one of the things that I talk with people about so frequently is that overwhelmingly, the work we do at Feel Strong is to enhance your life outside of the gym. The winning in the gym can be totally fun. I've had a great time winning in the gym. I've had a great time training people who want to win in the gym. But as far as compelling cases go, and as far as really satisfying things to work on, and as far as things that will have an impact far beyond today, and we're talking weeks, months, years, even decades of work, making sure that you can show up the way you need to and want to outside of the gym is far more interesting to me. And yes, this includes being able to do your hobbies and your sport, and being able to say yes to anything you want to do, but absolutely being able to show up for the things you need to do. Really, really important. And that kind of work and that kind of preparedness only becomes more challenging the longer you're away from it. And tied in necessarily to that, only becomes more challenging the older you get. We can build fitness at basically any age. It is harder starting at 70 than it is at 30. It is harder starting at 70 than it is at 45. It is harder starting at 70 than it is at 60. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. We've done it before with people, and we'll do it again. But imagine, if you will, and this maybe ties into conversations that you may be having with people you care about, people you love. And this may be parents, this may be partners, this may be spouses, this may be colleagues. If you note or notice that people are starting to have a harder time, they're starting to slow down, and it starts showing up in little ways. Maybe they say no to stuff they used to say yes to. That's a leading thing. Maybe they express concern about being part of certain activities. And the degree to which those activities may or may not be necessary also can kind of highlight how important these things can get. By which I mean, no, I can't do the Spartan race. I'm not feeling great about my shoulders. I don't think that would be a good way to test them. Excellent answer. If doing things like that is important to you, we should look at your shoulders, do some assessments, set some benchmarks, do some work on it. But that's very different than, I actually can't go. I don't think I should go grocery shopping alone because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get the bags to the car. It's a big distance. Those two people could absolutely be the same people. So keep your ears open and listen to this. But know that the training for longevity and the training for day to day and the training to be able to show up the way that you need to, really need to, takes a lot of work, because you never know when those asks are going to happen. I have another person in my circle who they recently They had a loss in their family, and they have a funeral coming up. At time of recording, it's actually in like a day or two. And they're very, very worried because they believe they're going to be asked to be a pallbearer. And they're extremely worried about their lower back. This is not a client, but they're very worried about whether or not their lower back will tolerate being a pallbearer. Now, whether or not they're actually asked to do this in the modern day, I don't know. But that sort of thing where you're not going to suddenly sign up for an adventure race accidentally, but you may be called upon to do something that you really want to do and you want to be ready for it. Stronger people are always a little more useful, and you don't need, there is no independent metric you necessarily need to hit to be considered strong. It's why one of the reasons the company is called Feel Strong, right? It is not called bench at least 1.5 times your body weight. That wouldn't fit well on a t-shirt, but it also kind of doesn't matter. But the knowledge and confidence and conviction that you can say yes to these things that come up in life, that when the stroller breaks and what you're probably going to have to do is carry the kid the 3 miles home, and you're not going to push the kid 3 miles home, is it going to be the most comfortable thing in the world? Probably not. Are you capable of doing it? Absolutely. Because the person who isn't capable of doing that is now in a really tough spot. And yes, there are solutions to what I just described, but that's a much harder spot. And now you're making significant compromises in your life. I would consider significant compromises because we have, to some degree, failed to prepare. And that failure of preparation may well be, and in my experience often is, part of that inner view of that, yes, I could exercise, I could move. I know there's other things I could do to be more in shape, but that feels really selfish. And that feels like a thing that I'm doing just for me. And it's kind of a luxury. It's kind of a hobby. And honestly, there's too much going on. It's too stressful. Other things are a higher priority. I'm going to put my family and providing and work and these things on a higher shelf. Those are a bigger priority to me. I'm going to spend time there, when the reality is that the fitness and the movement and the strength and the function and the capability are going to allow you to keep those things as a higher priority, are going to allow you to keep doing those things the way you feel like you need to and the way that you want to. Because if that gets taken away, if you suddenly don't have the fitness and strength and function required to do these things that are a higher priority, now it's a significant compromise. Now you can't pick your child up. You used to be able to. You feel like you need to. You definitely want to. Your partner is getting upset that you have taken actions leading to you not being able to pick your child up. Now what are you going to do? Is it too late? Yes and no. It's too late to avoid what has already happened. Would it have been better to start 3 years ago? Yeah, 100%. It's that old saying, right? The best time to plant a tree is 50 years ago. The second best time is right now. So for the people in your life, maybe this is you, but if you're listening to this, it's less likely that it's you. But if it is, or if you have people in your life you feel that this applies to, the time to get to work is right now. It's not too late. You do not need to lose weight before you start getting in shape. You do not need to buy more equipment before you start doing a routine. You do not need to wait for a slower time at work or till there's, it's easier to start a workout routine. In fact, the harder time is a better time to start it. Because if we can find a way to make a workout routine fit into a challenging schedule around the holidays where things feel chaotic and the workload is significant, and we still prove that we can carve out 45 minutes 3 times a week of intentional, significant, progressive working out, then when work slows down, it's going to be easy. Then you'll be able to do it, almost on autopilot. Get up, put your shoes on, put your shirt on, jump in the car, go to the gym, do 45 minutes, go to work. No problem. Waiting until it feels right. Waiting until the new year. Waiting until you have more time. Waiting until you have more money. Waiting until you have more equipment. Waiting until the kids start school. Waiting until work slows down. All of that is a compromise that is not going to take you where you want it to take you. It's not. So let's look within, consider all the other things and all of the other people that will be supported and seen to and nurtured and cared for and supported by you being able to be the person who can make them a really big priority, who can show up in the way they want and need to show up day to day, week to week, month to month, and know that the foundation of that is being built right now. You need this in your life. It's really important. If you know people like this, I implore you to start having this conversation with them. It is not always easy, and it often takes time. It is unlikely you are going to say, hey, have you ever thought about getting some more exercise in your life? And they say, it never occurred to me. What a great idea. Thanks for mentioning it. I'm going to jump on my phone and book a consult now, and I'll be starting by tomorrow. It's probably going to be several conversations, and it might be some hard questions, and you will almost definitely be hit with some great answers and excuses. If this is someone you really care about, take the time to address those excuses, because they're just objections, right? They're not really excuses. Nobody has the time. Nobody has the money. No one can take the added stress. Everyone's body hurts. No one's in the kind of shape they would like to be in. None of that's true. There is someone out there right now in exactly the same circumstances and exactly the same conditions with the exact same schedule who's getting it done. And that person is moving forward, and that person is going to be more ready to answer the call, whatever that call is. It's pushing the car out of the snow or picking the child up off the floor. That person will be more ready. The people you care about, especially with someone who would have, especially because they have someone like you in their life who will have a conversation like this with them, have the strong possibility of being the kind of person who's ready. If you would like to talk more about this, I am absolutely open to chat. DMs are always open. I love talking with you guys about the feedback on these things and these topics. And I would love to hear what you hear about this one, because this is kind of fresh off the presses for me, and I just wanted to come talk to you about it. But I think it's really, really important. I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for the subscriptions and feedback on the podcast. My name is Justin McClintock. Feel strong. Thank you so much for listening to the Feel Strong Fitness Podcast. Please subscribe and leave a 5-star rating if you have the time. That makes a really big difference. If you have questions, you want details, DM us on Instagram at FeelStrongFit. There's more information on the website at feelstrong.me. We value effectiveness, individualization, and empathy. See what it's like to have an expert in the field really listen, hear what you need, and build you the perfect program to get you where you want to go. Today is the perfect time to get started. Reach out.